his environment and put into some primeval kind of situation and still
and bring the
be the
civilization with him.
master of the
We are
domain.
streaming, for the record.
I mean, white supremacy, right?
As long as we're streaming on Twitter, should be fine.
Hey, what's the YouTube? There's a YouTube alternative. I can't think of what it is.
Oh, I'm sure there's more than one. But yeah, is there a big one? I don't know.
Yeah. You know what? My computer did that thing where it like pretends Windows is just now installed for the first time, and now all of my history and my settings and stuff.
Did it take an update?
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Oh, you might have clicked the wrong thing when you came back to wake it up after updating. You probably didn't uncheck the box that was like,
please erase all of my things.
Yeah. Please treat me like I've never used a computer before.
Yeah.
And yes, I do want to subscribe to your newsletter.
Oh man. Outline good?
Pretty good. I think it's as good as it'll get.
I don't know.
New releases. I thought you were going to look at some new releases.
What is this show about again?
It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
Zelda game came out. Does that count?
I mean, I guess.
It's on the list, I suppose.
I can talk about it. I think that
Marvel's Midnight Suns. Oh, it came out for lesser consoles.
Yeah, and DLCs.
It sounds like you're on a non-standard, less than ideal mic.
Me?
LeGrand? Yeah.
I don't think so. I'll check.
Either that or it's just really hot for some reason.
Well, such is the way of things, apparently. It's kind of hot. All right, how's that? Is that better?
No.
Oh, hang on a second. Is this better?
That's more normal. Yeah.
Okay, well then we're gonna call that better. Whatever it is what it is. Let's see.
Yeah, you do sound like your typical podcast self now.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Preview. I don't know how this works now. Everything is just new.
Testing. Oh, this is always hot though, and it's not my fault. It's just this microphone just is really loud.
Yeah.
I can't do much about it. I can turn it down, but then, well, I just want to make sure it sounds good in the recording. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, I mean that's what matters. You can probably adjust any other settings without it being important.
I am ready to go whenever you guys are.
Let me situate my chair here so I don't have to hunch back.
I've been working on this freaking 3D print all night long, and it's finally halfway working.
Was it like a doorstop or something?
No, it's like this. It's this board game. You make these pieces, and you have to print these little small white pieces first.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as that print's done, you swap out your filament, and then you print the black around it.
What game is it?
It's a game called Hive.
Okay.
But the problem is that these are so small and thin that it's difficult to get that type of detail to stick really well to the bed. And so and the printer file is not made for this printer, so it's like I've been fine-tuning it. I got this whole batch of white on black to print, and now I'm trying to print the black on white for the other player, and it's just this worked first try out of the gate perfectly. And then this one I've been literally probably 12 times I've tried.
Whoa.
And it keeps on. And this one's even fucked up, but it's one of the expansion pieces that's fucked up, so I'm not carrying as much. But anyway.
This is like a Kickstarted game and you got STL files or whatever?
No, somebody just made their own version of it with their own art and then released it.
Okay.
So I've printed like a handful of little full complete board games, which is pretty fun. And the kids like them, so it's pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, I wonder if part of the problem is
there a problem?
Chrome now signed me. Well, all my stuff being erased. I think Chrome signed me
Oh.
into a profile
new-
or something that I haven't been using.
Did they default you to a
Do we need to announce
like a
Weird
new
West
profile
coming
or
out?
something?
Like, who cares? That game's already been out for a while, right?
Isn't it on Game Pass? Isn't that the thing?
I think that's where I played it.
Definitive
Forever
edition.
ago. Oh, it's coming to console. It's already been on PC. I see what you're saying. Let's see.
Well, that didn't fix my stuff.
So we have Le Zelda game. I mean, it's been so long since we've recorded. I guess it doesn't really matter. Here's the best Destiny gun of all time. Verdict: guilty.
Prognosis negative.
Far Cry 6 on PC. It's why is this even on this list? Who is making this list? Far Cry 6?
Robert Desert Eagle Allen.
There's nothing. Everything got out of the way of Zelda, apparently. Except for Midnight Suns on lesser consoles.
Well, the thing is, though, that, I mean, Redfall came out in the last, little bit, and so did,
Redfall? That's it.
No, there was something else. There was something else that was like a big deal. What was it?
I don't know.
Like
There's exactly one new release and one Destiny gun on the list today.
Oh, Jedi Survivor.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's on my list. I watched somebody stream that a little bit.
Oh yeah,
And it
yeah.
looked
No,
pretty
my friend's
cool.
playing a lot of that.
Looked pretty cool.
Crap. Who cares?
But like, there was like some problem with it at launch or something.
It was bad performance still, even on PC, I believe.
Yeah.
That's the kind of game that you stream on GeForce Now.
Sure.
The thing is like, even with like the best graphics cards, it's still shitty. So it has nothing to do with better hardware. It's just poorly optimized on PC.
Yeah,
Which
I don't know how
GeForce
that
Now
keeps
will
happening.
not solve.
Like,
unfortunately.
why do we make games that are 150 gigabytes big and they run worse?
They're 150
Good
gigabytes
question.
big because you're loading in all those freaking high-res textures at 4K now. Like, that's just reality at this point.
You know what? We need to go back.
I'm on board. I've been playing Super Punch-Out.
Hey, all right, that's good.
I never
I'm
played
ready.
Super Punch-Out, and I've been dicking around with it.
Is it now? Is
The
that
one on the
one-
Super NES?
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
Is
it's
that-
on the Switch, whatever.
Who's the main? Is it Mr. Dream or was that the?
I'm on the last fight. I can't remember his name. It's like Super Macho Man or something like that.
People talk about the Shadow of the Colossus as being like oh, it's all bosses. You know what? Punch Out was doing all bosses.
Yeah, it was just a boss rush.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
shit,
a
it's
boss
not.
rush.
So it is Super Macho Man. But there's a special circuit after that I didn't know about. That's not on the list. So maybe you have to beat.
You know what else? Wasn't there? Didn't they find just recently like there's a secret two-player mode that like they just barely discovered or something?
I have no idea.
I think you're correct.
There's
yeah, I
something
remember
like that.
hearing about
The only
that.
thing, it's kind of a worse game than the NES, and we can talk about it. I can mention it briefly, but
Yeah, you know what? I originally had wanted to do a semi-regular like old game. Like I went back to play something old,
Mhm.
and I feel like the last time I did it was when I played like Eight Eyes on the NES or something years ago,
8 Eyes. Wow.
or something like that. I don't even remember what it was called.
Solar Jet Man.
Yeah, Lunar Land.
Bear Hugger, Piston, Hurricane, Bald.
Did they do
Battle
away with all
Hoods.
the like ethnic, like everybody's instead of
No,
being
man, they
piston-
had that on the
No,
Wii.
no. That's
the Wii
still
they
Punch
kept
Out.
it
it's
all?
still
Yeah,
super
like
super racist.
Italio Pizzarati.
The other weird part is like they use like Soda Popinski's not in it, but his model and animation, even though they're sprites, like there's like a recolored version of Soda Popinski. And in fact, Super Macho Man has some of Soda Popinski's moves.
That's weird.
And it's like
I really wish
it's
the
really
Japanese
weird.
team hadn't asserted themselves and changed his name to Eggman Boxer.
Who?
I don't know. It's Popinski, Robotnik.
Oh.
Eggman.
There's a guy named Mad Clown and there's a guy named Bear Hugger, and they're basically the same model. Like it's weird. Like they did like They just kind of reskinned the
Bear
sprites
Hugger, though,
slightly.
wasn't Bear Hugger like an overall hillbilly kind of dude?
Yeah, and then there's a clown.
Bad clown. Wouldn't he be like a juggalo then?
Just look it up, man. Look up Bear Hugger. Super Punch Out.
Juggalos were predicted by Punch Out on the Super
Just
Nintendo.
look up all the bosses, and just like with their character models. I don't know if there's probably a picture somewhere.
I feel like we used to hear a lot more about juggalos. I hope they're okay.
Okay, so here you go. I'm gonna send you guys a picture. Copy image. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Do it. Put it in
There
our
it is.
recording chat so Jared has to look at it. And there you go.
Okay. So
Oh, yeah,
look
look at that
look
clown.
at Bear Hugger and then look at Clown. The model is effectively the same. It's super
Yeah.
dumb.
Lazy devs.
Palette swap.
Yeah,
Not
basically.
quite.
It's
No, it's
and then this Super Macho Man, and see how his chin is? He's the guy, the 12th guy, the
Hey.
gray hair man.
now. I
Yeah.
want you to look at that. I want you to look at that sprite pad there of all those guys. Does that not look like a whole bunch of Metal Gear Solid villains?
It does. Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah. I beat
Like
so I
Fat Man,
beat
like that clown. Just imagine him on some rollerblades, with a big
Bulbul.
goblet.
Clown was hard. The one before Clown, the gray long hair guy, he was harder though.
That Rastafarian.
He wasn't that difficult. It didn't get hard until the third row.
This also kind of looks like the Primarchs from Warhammer 40,000, like the gene fathers of all the Space Marine chapters.
All right, let's get this thing going.
Yeah, I got 7 minutes of gold, and we got more than that on YouTube. Welcome, YouTube.
Hard-ish. I wrecked these fools. All right, we ready?
Yep,
Are we
Oh, wait.
streaming?
Hold
We've
on,
been
I'm not ready.
streaming.
we've been streaming. I've been looking at myself.
What's
here.
the?
It's
Oh yeah, Audacity.
You want me to restart my audio, Jeremy? I'm
Tail.
going to, just for you.
all right, I will too. 7 minutes in is too much.
Yeah, no, I didn't even have the thing loaded up. Let's see if it works. Hello,
Every
1 2
once in
3
a while, I
4
get some
1 2
good
3 4.
Testing. All right, let's clap and get this thing going so we can get out of here in 30 minutes.
All right.
One, two,
hold on. Wait.
3,
Wait.
3 and 3/4.
Wait, we record, then we clap. Okay, all right. Here we go.
One,
It hasn't
two,
been that long.
1, 2, 3.
Ow.
Oh, wow, that
Jeez,
was
it
the
has.
weakest
You know
clap
what,
ever.
Hit my thing.
Jeremy? It has been that long. I hate to tell you.
It's been a while.
I clapped it 30 something seconds, like 31.
8 seconds.
All right, I'll be able to find it.
You'll find it. It's at the beginning. So we restarted. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game by Show podcast. We are back in action for season 7 of the Game by Show.
7D.
Yeah, at least. It's May 15th, 2023. And my name is LeGrand Jolly. This evening, Jeremy Lamont. Hello, Jeremy.
Hello, Legrand. Hello, everybody out there.
And Dale Jones. Hello, Dale.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going all right. We are streaming on the YouTubes. So head over to GameByteShow.com. Actually, don't go there. It still doesn't redirect. I don't know why it doesn't redirect, but YouTube,
Does it not? Hey,
it
what's
still
the
doesn't work.
deal?
I've set it up like multiple times, and anyway, it's dumb. So come over to our Discord. I don't know how to even tell people to get there
we'll fi-
anymore. Listen, GameByShow.com. We'll get it working again, and that's where we're going to be at.
That's a Game Byte Show promise.
Go to YouTube and search for Game by Show, and you'll find us. And then you can.
YouTube.com/GameByte Show.
That's right. And then you can make your way from there to wherever.
I'm pretty sure we've got links on there somewhere.
Surely
You know
we
what?
have
we're
links
a
on there.
wholly game.
We've
we're
only
a
been
wholly
doing this for like 8 years, and we are very professional. And
We're
very
getting
good at, we're
progressively
very good at
worse
what we do.
at it as time goes on.
It's
Yeah.
literally been like 8 years. You guys really realize this, right?
That sounds about
Sounds
right.
about right.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's okay.
We
We
should
missed like
publish
the
all of
last
those-
3 weeks, and it's not any of our faults, but all of our faults all at the same time. And it's fine.
Collective.
You know what?
punishment.
I mostly blame Jared
Yeah,
because he's not here.
indeed. He has nowhere to stand up for himself, and that's also perfectly fine.
That's it. We are signing him all the action items at this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We should though take all of our old episodes and like publish them on like some kind of audio DVD or something like that because DVDs are
Oh,
the medium of the
dude.
You mean
future.
like a vinyl disc?
Let's
of
start a
some sort?
Kickstarter for our DVDs of all the
I
audio
love it.
files.
I love it.
No, we will
or you
give
can
out
get-
zip discs of
We can
all of
sell
our
a wallet,
episodes.
a pre-filled wallet of like 30 CDs.
30 CDs.
One
That'd be so
episode would
good.
take up a whole CD.
Yeah, there's probably more than that.
Do you guys remember those big old stereo systems they had back in the late 90s, early 2000s that had like 100 discs you could put in them?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty sweet. But you never knew what you were
I'm
going to
waiting-
get because you didn't know where the music was that you'd actually put in there.
There's like 7 discs swirling around in there.
I
don't
had
know.
a 3-disc changer when I was in high school.
So did
I'm
I.
waiting
That's
for
what
a-
I had.
I'm waiting for the
Yeah.
home jukebox to get big, where you can just like slap like 12 LPs in there and just like have it.
Yeah, how come that never became a thing?
I don't know. It really needs to be. It's as stupid as vinyl anyway. Like,
I've got like 3 vinyls on order, and I kind of forgot about it.
see, that's
That's what
this is the
happens, I
way.
guess.
This is the
I've
way.
got the Harry Potter one coming. I've got the Hunt Showdown one coming, and I've got one other, I think.
I gotta keep my eye out for that Hunt Showdown one. I missed that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's going to be a good one for sure. I also purchased the new Metallica album vinyl because
Oh wow.
I really like the second
Nice.
song
Because
a lot.
Lars Ulrich is gonna come to your house if you're playing it digitally.
No,
I think those guys should probably hang it up. I mean, they're good and everything, but I mean, what are they, like 60 now?
they are
Oh, come on,
over
dudes are
60.
touring, and they're in their late 70s. Guys are still touring.
I just
It's
heard on the
true.
radio that Aerosmith is going to do one last tour. Like,
Yeah,
we're
it's,
out.
it's coming to Utah, and
The
ZZ
Peace Out
Top.
tour.
ZZ Top was in Utah like 2 weeks ago.
That guy, ZZ Top, those guys.
ZZ or
the
Top?
beard-
Which one?
Isn't it like Z and Top?
I don't know,
Like,
dude.
it's Z and my
And you
brother
don't know
Z.
either, and nobody knows. Nobody our age knows.
Their beards were down to their toes, like some Looney Tunes
Mhm.
backwater
Yeah,
hillbilly.
it's like
I heard Sharp Dressed Man on the radio
Yeah.
just yesterday.
Sharp
says
Dress.
it.
What about Lagrange? That's my favorite song. For reasons, I don't know.
Yeah.
There was this lady
was
at
secretly
my
named
old
after-
work that she didn't know how to say my name, and she called me Lagrange.
Lagrange.
Yeah, and it kind of stuck. So there's lots of
I
people
got
that call
a
me
new spelling
Lagrange.
of Jeremy, Jerramy. I'm adding that one to my list.
That sounds very Utah
Did
County.
you guys have you ever thought about it? The fact that the ZZ Top have they have a song called Legs, and then they have another song called Tush.
Well,
So
Okay,
you know,
okay. Are you a legs or a tush man? That's the question.
exactly right. And they've got "Give Me All Your Lovin'."
Sharp dressed man and Lagrange.
Yeah.
That's all that anyone ever knows. It's fine.
Yeah, I think there's more too.
Probably.
Tube Snake Boogie is one apparently. Viva Las Vegas. Yeah, everybody knows that one.
Nope.
now, come on, you can't count that. That's an Elvis.
No,
Brown Sugar.
nobody
they do
knows
that
it.
too.
Nobody knows it. Nobody knows that
All
song.
right.
Listen, guys, it's the video game show, and it's been like 3 weeks. We have a lot to catch up on, but we're going to make it super quick because, well, I don't know, because we are going to. I'm going to run through my stuff really quick. Are you ready for this?
All right.
I have been
Alright.
playing Overwatch. I'm almost done with the Battle Pass. I have like about 4 more levels to finish the Battle Pass for the season, which I've never done in any game ever, by the way.
So that means you've almost completed Overwatch for good.
That's right. I'm going to quit.
So you're
And
ready for Overwatch 2?
I'm ready for Overwatch 2. I know the story. I'm prepared.
Caught up.
Yeah, that game's good still. It's there's a really cool arcade mode going on right now. It's pretty fun. And I don't know. It's fun. And I got there's like 4 weeks left in the season and I'm almost done with the
How
battle
many
pass, which is
characters
cool.
are there in Overwatch now?
25 maybe.
Hmm,
Probably
okay.
probably 25 or so. Yeah, it's really good. I also have been playing World of Warcraft. I've only been playing Blizzard games and then two other games. World of Warcraft, I leveled an arms warrior, which I've never leveled a warrior ever in World of Warcraft. In the last 15 years, or
Really?
it's older than that.
Warrior? As opposed to,
Arms
like, a
is the
legs warrior or
class.
Tush warrior.
There's arms, there's fury, and there's protection.
Oh, that's
Tush
right.
warrior is absolutely the title of this.
Yeah.
podcast.
And so
Yeah,
arms warriors
my-
have the big two-handed mace or the big two-handed sword.
I'm trying to remember what my orc was. I think he might have been a arms warrior.
Arms was like the default spec when you roll the character, so that's what I kept. I unlocked all
my-
of the allied races, so I did that. And then I rolled a warrior because I'd never done it before and discovered they actually had a pretty good time playing the warrior. So I leveled the warrior up to max level. There's new zones, there's new content.
I think WoW has
I don't
probably
know.
done like 2 or 3 full resets in the time since I
At least.
played that warrior back in.
At least.
2009,
You would have no
whatever.
idea what's going on. The freaking talent tree is so screwy right now. I mean, it's cool,
Yeah.
but it's is very, very different than it's ever been in the past. So I've been playing that. Diablo 4 Server Slam happened last weekend, and I played another 4 hours of that.
Yeah, Server Slam.
It was super dumb and a complete waste of time, but I did it anyways because Diablo. So,
but you can get a special pre-launch buddy or something.
well, I got all that. I didn't get the trophy from killing the world boss because there's reasons. It's super dumb. I'm not, well, it's whatever. No one's gonna, it's like,
oh no,
they added one of those cosmetic FOMO items to get people to come and play, but it was like near impossible to get this item. You had to have like a perfect team of people to fight this world boss, because in the beta they let you level up to 25, and in the Server Slam they only let you level up to 20. Then you had to fight this world boss at level 25. That was a level 25 world boss, so everyone was under leveled for it. And you had to like do it perfectly, or else you couldn't kill it. And I didn't kill it.
It's a shame that you're never going to be a real player of Diablo 4 then.
I know I'm not going to have that one cosmetic item that I'm never going to use ever.
No,
I'm really pissed off
might as well
about
just
it.
quit.
Yeah,
just don't even buy the game.
Just going to stop. I also started playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I got to the next chapter, which spoilers is like not even in America. It's like on a remote island in the ocean. This is really weird. I know that sounds strange.
In a Red Dead Redemption game?
Yep. Yeah.
Suddenly turns into a James Bond.
It's really weird. You get shipwrecked in freaking Red Dead Redemption 2. Spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2 for if you haven't played it yet. You end up on an island.
Started adding ships.
Yeah, it was really strange. Like it was. I mean, the circumstances that allowed you to get to that point was fine.
Black Flag.
What was that?
Red Dead Redemption 3 Black Flag.
That's right.
I'll play that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Blackbeard Redemption.
And then finally, I have been playing Super Punch-Out on the Nintendo Switch, on the online Super Nintendo. And let me tell you what I've been doing. I haven't been save scumming my way through. Well, I take that back. I have not been. I've been restarting the characters over and over again, right? So I haven't, because they do something. This game is like a step back from NES NES Punch Out. I never played Super Punch Out ever. Like I probably tried it like once or twice, but I never really played it. Like I played NES Punch Out like a ton of that when I was a kid growing up. And this game, they don't have like the rounds in between rounds. That doesn't exist. So if you don't get the guy that you're fighting down 3 times in 3 minutes, then you lose and you have to do it again. But you have like four lives to do it in. And so there's no like in between matches where Doc is like giving you a pep talk and you can push the select button at the right time and make sure that you get some health back in the next round. Like that doesn't happen. There's only one round. And if you get knocked out 3 times, you lose. And if you knock out them 3 times, you win. There's also no like training montages, which is super disappointing.
Oh.
Yeah, like
throw that in the garbage.
Really dumb. But they added like there's also no stars. You know when you get a star and you hit the start button and you have like a super turbo punch?
Yeah, the star. Yeah.
Instead, what happens is you get like, as you punch, there's like a little meter at the bottom that kind of fills up, and when you get it all the way maxed out, you can like unleash like this combo attack. And it's fine. It just doesn't feel as cool as the star, because if you like screw it up, then they will like block it, which is dumb. But anyway, so what I've been doing in that game is I've been playing each of the matches, and when I got like near probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 fighters in, like I started having had to like really learn patterns, and really like it would take you longer than you wanted to play this game to like finish one fighter. And so what I ended up doing was I would save it, like I do a save state right at the beginning of the fight. And then as I fought through, I would like save at key times to practice like certain like timings on certain moves so I could dodge them properly or block them. And then eventually I would like save scum my way through the fight, but then I would revert back to my original save state where the boss was at the beginning, and I would make sure I could beat him all the way through. So I felt good about myself.
That's actually how Rocky Balboa trained in Rocky 4.
That's right.
Sure.
You're absolutely right. So it's a good Punch Out game. I think it's the simplicity of the first NES Punch Out, I think, is not present in this game. This has got a little bit more going on, which is fine. It's kind of like a Mega Man X to original Mega Man. Is kind of like the feel. It's like not as simple. More things. I don't know.
The Punch Out with 3 exclamation points on the Wii was all right. I heard that was a good.
I don't think I ever played that one. Was that a motion control one with the nunchuck? Did you have to use that?
I hope so. Bah, 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 bah.
I don't remember. I don't think I ever actually played it.
I didn't play it either.
No, it's kind of like Excite Truck or whatever. Like it's
Oh, Excite Truck. I never played
Little
that either.
Mac.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, Super Punch Out's cool. It's on. I don't know why I fired it up, but I was like, I was waiting for my daughter to get done with her gymnastics, whatever practice. What do they call it? Gymnastics. She had gymnastics for an hour, and I was waiting, and I had my Switch, and I'm like, I'm gonna play some Super Nintendo games, and I ended up playing Super Punch Out. And then the next time I had to go take her to gymnastics, I had my Switch again, and I played more Punch Out. And so I'm on the I guess there's some 4 secret bosses that I didn't know about that aren't in the main menu until you.
Oh yeah, Balrog, Vega, Sagat.
Yeah, those guys, and then the sequel and championship edition, you can actually play as them, which is really cool. Yeah,
nice,
super awesome. Anyway, so that's all I've been doing, just a bunch of Blizzard games, and then super freaking Punch Out. So there you go.
Well, real quick, I don't really have anything new game-wise to talk about. What I do want to talk about is rediscovering the joys of sort of the shared adversity of multiplayer PvE game modes, right?
Yeah.
So teaming up with people and more than that, but also having basically a guild of folks that you log on to the game with every day, and those same people are always there, and so you get to know those people by their in-game handle, Cadillac Zach or
smokes mad blunts.
Yeah, exactly.
69
shout out to Sitting Bull, who I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy.
Dude, what if that's
still playing Final Fantasy 11?
Could be. Yeah, and it's what I've gotten really into lately is just all of the sort of end game content. It's just end game content, right? So it's all PvE. There's not a shred of PvP in this game, right? It's all forced group. You need at least some events you need at least a trio even just to enter, right? And those are the ones that are actually balanced more around having probably 12 to 18 people, or under that if they're really well geared, sort of thing. And so yeah, just being on sort of a live chat room, for a long session with people coming in and out and being like, hey, what you doing? Oh, hey, we ran this event yesterday and these were the drops, and yada yada yada. And then then people are just saying oh, the cat spilled a drink, I gotta go clean it up, BRB, all that sort of stuff.
BRB bio.
And but just spending a good month or two, or long enough to settle into a groove, and you kind of get to know personalities, and then it's you get those people that are longtime veterans that are all about helping people to gear up and join the weekly rotation of events and all this other stuff, and then the people who are just kind of lifers that are just on their 10th alt character,
kind of worry about them a little bit.
Exactly. There's this one dude that I've been playing with. I guess it's a dude. I don't know. You know how they say on the internet, nobody knows you're a dog, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, they'll be I don't know. I guess being that this game is really old now, it's a 20-year-old game, a lot of the players are people that were playing it way back then, which of course means that there are people that are at least in their 30s, and maybe even up into their 50s and 60s, right? And so sometimes people will be like, oh, I gotta pick up the grandkid from school, or or they'll be like, oh, I gotta take my anxiety meds because I'm feeling real stressed out or whatever. And it's weird that these social barriers come down in these environments like this at times, that can be kind of interesting. So I wouldn't say that you get to know somebody very well, but you get to know maybe a facet of somebody that they don't show other people all the time, which is, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. I'm having a really good time playing this game a lot, but also a lot of that is due to the fact that there are other people that I'm coming to know somewhat by repeatedly playing together. And
Dale,
it's just really cool.
It sounds like you've learned that the best part of video games is truly the people.
Well, it was the real Final Fantasy 11 was the friends that we
Absolutely. The power of friendship.
yeah. And no, that's absolutely true because all of my memories from way back in the day when I played this game was all that sort of like, grouping up with people, having like a static group of folks that you played with for like months on end and tackled these like, these challenges that require insane amounts of coordination and cooperation and collaboration and all this other stuff, all the other corporate buzzwords that
Synergy.
your CEOs want to psych you up about, but you really don't give a crap because you're just there to.
Just in time manufacturing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sigma
But I
6.
mean, we're all just there to collect a paycheck, really, right? And like,
Right.
unless you're the owner, who really gives a crap, right? But when you're doing it for fun, and you can get that rare drop, right? Oh, I was in an event this evening. It's an event that's called Vagary, which is a fitting name because it's pretty mystifying how the thing works if you haven't run it 1,000 times. And yeah, there's this like secret boss that you can only fight if you meet this whole list of prerequisites, right? Like prerequisites within the run, such as like you have to kill all these monsters like in this manner, nobody can die, you can't have done this, you have to have done that, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's this one drop off of this boss that's like it's called like the Tartarus plate mail, and apparently it drops like one thousand one in 1,000 times or something, and we had one of those drop, which was really cool, right? And it's not really like a great piece for like utility, but it's like it's got like a flashy graphical effect, right? So it's kind of a what they call like a vanity piece, right? For your transmog sort of thing. And yeah, there was only like, oh god, there was what, like 12 of us playing, and only like 2 or 3 people even wanted it, right? And so I the way that you do this is you random, basically a random number. It's called casting a lot. And like the people that want a piece of loot cast lots for it, and it generates a number from 1 to 999, and whoever gets the highest number just wins it, right? And so I was the first person to lot this gear, and I threw like 853 or something.
Oh, not bad.
And then somebody else slotted it, and it was like 185 or whatever. And then finally, this other guy lotted it and got like 897. And I was like, "Oh, you bastard!" But it's it's all good, right? Like I don't even care about that stupid thing anymore. But I don't just fun times. And the reason I bring it up is because it's a very different multiplayer experience from like a Call of Duty or even like a Rainbow Six Siege or something where you're like you have a strike team of a few people, because a lot of those games are like um, you have a lot more control over your own experience. It's like how good of a sniper are you, and that's really you're going to be like one of 4 people on a team. That's going to be a real you have a lot more impact on the performance of your team. But like when you're in like a large event where it's 10 people, or like 20 people in a raid or whatever, it's more about how well you come together and cooperate and set somebody up for the smackdown, or like debuff the mob so that it doesn't do its ultimate move or whatever it is, right? It's just I don't know, different dynamic.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Good.
So yeah, that's it.
My cold heart has grown 3 sizes. No, actually, I think that's good. No, it really is a cool part of that.
Because if you've been a long time listener to this, I don't spend a whole lot of time playing a lot of multiplayer games. Or if I do, it's because they're like ancillary multiplayer, like Elite or something. So, but another game that I have really,
you are not.
Yeah, but the other type of game that I really got into once upon a time was Dota 2 when that launched. I was like all about that for a good 6-8 months or something like that. And then we had a kid, and you just can't do it anymore.
The end.
Yeah.
Kids ruin everything. And I haven't gone back. Honestly.
It's true.
It's very true.
Oh gosh. Well, I tell you what, I'll follow your lead, you guys. Rather than because I did play Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom?
I think it's Tears. I'm pretty sure it's Tears. I'm gonna call it Tears.
I haven't played this game.
I'm gonna do my very best to continue to call it Tears of the
Breathe of the Wild.
Yeah, the Breathe of the Wild. So I was gonna maybe talk about that at some length, but maybe I'll just kind of overview a few things that I've played in the last few weeks. So Tears of the Kingdom is, I think, better than Breathe of the Wild. Um, it as you've probably seen on the internet, on the social media. I mean, the main
I heard somebody
mechanic.
give it a 6.0 or something.
Really? Well, I have thought about this. The last two games in the Zelda series
Don't
are
be a Jeremy. Just don't be a Jeremy.
they're
It
not
sucks.
they're not really Zelda-y. I mean, it has been a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And at the time, and I think we recognized it on this podcast, Nintendo made some bold, um, really,
I think
I
we
guess.
presided over the Breath of the Wild launch, right?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely did, and we talked
definitely.
about it. But I mean, they did some really brave and just like liberating kinds of things for players, right? I mean, making it, the
Climbing any
kind of thing when you
surface.
climb anywhere you want to go, and if you see a place, you can go over there, and if you want to fight the boss at the very beginning, like just run over there and do it, which is not typically Nintendo, and they had also around that same time done Super Mario Odyssey, which again kind of did some really bold
Yeah.
things. And they have really doubled down on that for Tears of the Kingdom. They not only have they really leaned into this mechanic of building things. So the Ultra Hand is kind of the big mechanic of this game, which is almost like a Fortnite style building, kind of remixing pieces that you find around, not only to fuse objects to one another in the game, but actually to power them and to make them sort of mechanical. They give you like a lot of simple machines that you can use and battery packs. There's energy that powers them. Um, Physics kind of works, so wind related stuff will float on the wind. Water, fluid mechanics kind of work. You can build things out of wheels and flamethrowers, and monster parts will do things. So the little, I can't remember what the bats are called in gobs or so, I don't know what they are, but
Bats,
you
I
get an
think, is what
eyeball
they're
from
called.
them. Yeah, you get an eyeball from it, and then you can fuse that to things, and then it
No,
will
they're like
make
skeeters or something.
that's something.
Something.
I'm gonna look it up. It's probably
Keys.
dumb.
It's keys.
Key. That's what
Keese.
it is.
It's a
Yeah.
keys.
Oh yeah, that sounds right.
But you get an eyeball from it, and it'll make things look around, so you can fuse it to your weapons. Like that's another thing, is you can not only fuse things in the environment, but in your inventory. And so you can fuse an eyeball to an arrow, and then when you shoot it, the eyeball makes it into a homing arrow, for example. And you can fuse that onto the stuff that you build out of things, so you can actually mount guns eventually. I mean, I haven't done this myself, but I've seen it on the internet. Mount guns to your Trojan horse, and the guns will automatically look at the closest bad guy and just be repeatedly firing at things. So they've given
Hmm.
you a lot of pieces in that sort of Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts kind of way, where
Yeah.
you can just do that in addition to all of the Breath of the Wild stuff. On top of that, and I'm trying not to go into like a lot of spoilers, but the space that this game occupies is quite liberal. I mean, it's big, and
You
it's
go into
not only
space? The
not
Kerbal
not quite, but
Hyrule Space Program?
you go pretty high up. Like maybe the Amish Kerbals, like kind of in the stratosphere, maybe not
Yeah.
the atmosphere, but there's these floating islands. So space up in the sky is a thing. After the opening area, I mean, I'm just gonna I don't think it's spoilers, but you go to the ground level where things are different from the last game, and then, and this is really a spoiler, so whatever, but they also have an underground area, so you can actually go
What?
subterranean. And I actually have not seen
What?
it. So as far as I know, I'm the first person to spoil this on the internet, because I haven't seen
There's
people
an
talking about this.
underground? Oh my,
There's an underground.
there's
Yeah, and it's like,
dungeons?
and it reminds me actually, Legrand, of the dark zones in Tom Clancy. What's that MMO
The
computer
district?
game? Yeah,
Division. The
yeah,
The
district.
division,
division.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
long
district.
division. But there's like the dark zones where you go in and like everybody's kind of tougher and more
Right.
evil, and you get resources there that you can't get anywhere else. And they have this sort of economy where the crystals that you get in the subterranean area can do things up in the sky, and then you get stuff in the sky that goes back to the ground. So they kind of they give you always
It's a
somewhere
circle
to
of life.
go. Yeah, it really is. And then on top of that, there's the standard, Ocarina of Time style Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, the quests and things where you go to towns and talk to people, and they give you quests, and you go do things. And then all of the stuff from Breathe of the Wild is still there too. So there's cooking different outfits and sword damage, which was a big problem for people in the first game, right? The breakable
Weapon
instruments.
durability.
Yeah, weapon durability. But now in this, because you can fuse things together, you can turn a claymore into like a big club with a rock. You can take a stick and fuse something from your inventory, and suddenly you've got a good weapon all the time. So the thing that was really bothering people, I think that was probably one of
Mhm.
the big criticisms of that game,
Yes.
is not really a problem anymore, because you always have either weapons just like the previous game, or you can just start making stuff, and it's viable actual weapons. You can fuse things to your shields. So that, there are psychedelic mushrooms that confuse bad guys and make them attack each other. Put one of those on your shield, and when someone hits you, it gasses everybody, and then all the guys that were chasing you down are all fighting each other all of a sudden. Like, they just let you do a lot of weird stuff.
So it sounds kind of like an immersive sim sort of thing, like a Dishonored or like a Hitman sort
It
of
kind of is. I mean, there's
sandbox.
not really, yeah, it doesn't really have, I mean, in like Dishonored, it's you like, how am I going to solve the puzzle of this level? And
Yeah.
there still are, there were I can't remember the names of the dudes. They don't have moblins anymore, but it's like whoever the little goblin-y sorts of creeper dudes are. They still have their little outposts, and they're still sometimes like way overpowered. And
Aren't they
so,
like Coco Bocos or something?
yeah,
Like
no, yeah.
Corbacolos?
I don't remember actually, but
Something like that.
it is something like that. But they still have little challenges that you can come on, just like you would in Assassin's Creed or something. Where it's like, oh, here's a bandit outpost, and look, there's like 30 of them. So how am I going to like pick them off one at a time? Or
Bokoblins? That's it.
bokoblins, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Bokoblins.
So, or you can like take a big sword, fuse a TNT box onto it, and suddenly you have a throwable grenade like in World War I or something like that. And you can take 3 of those and just chuck them all in there and explode everybody. So they give you a lot of freedom to just mess around with stuff, and people are. I mean, I really get the sense that people are not finishing the game. They're just like building torture devices for Koroks or
I think finishing a game needs to be like a thing of the past. Like, because games are fun. You
Well,
don't
the
want to
hard
finish a
part,
game.
though, is that, I mean, the game starts you out with a definite story hook, and I guess you don't have to follow it or whatever. But the game isn't like, oh, hey, you're here in Hyrule, why don't you just go, mess around for 30 hours? They still give you things to do, which I guess when you're done and you're like, okay, enough, gluing horses to each other. I'm gonna go,
Oh, that's
progress.
perverted.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't. You can you can
that's
glue horses to your
evil.
machines. Yeah, there are people doing some pretty weird stuff with this. I mean, again, Nintendo normally would be very uh, protective, maybe, of what they allow user-generated content to do.
Yeah.
But I've seen people out there making dongs and
Yeah,
all kinds
I
of
was just gonna
stuff.
say they didn't do the time to the TTP and
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
nope. This is now a thing for Zelda, and we'll hear this later in our news, but that they are happy with this, and I think everybody seems to be pretty comfortable with this as the Zelda. I mean, it's not just the quests anymore; it's
Can you
this
actually
part of the
play
game.
as Princess Zelda now?
Maybe there's a
What?
part in the game. I haven't gotten to anything like that, but it's mostly Link.
You
They
know
don't
it's
let
gonna
you name the
be.
character anymore.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
probably
well.
what I'll talk about Tears of the Kingdom. But I did play a few other things. I'll just rip through them real quickly here. I went to a game swap meet here in Utah in the city of Layton, and
You
Professor
I
Layton?
went
you
to
went to
Minus
that?
World.
I heard about
Yeah,
that.
I did. Well, they invited me to speak on a panel, so I wouldn't
Oh
have
wow.
been. But yeah, I talked about the history of game music. But
Hmm.
the I just was looking through stuff, and I'm like, look at all this garbage people brought. Like, what do I want? And I actually remembered that I had for a long time been looking for a copy of Golden Axe Beast Rider, which
The
is
like 360 game?
yeah, or
Yeah.
PlayStation in this case, PS3, and roundly maligned. Nobody likes
Oh
this
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like, I like Golden Axe. I'm ready to love this, and it's it's better than you are maybe led to believe. And it's not available to stream. It was never on a digital. You couldn't buy it digitally. You could only get it on disc. So I came across a copy of it for like 12, $13. Picked up a copy of it. It's very rudimentary. It's very brown. It's not bad. It's fine. You get to ride some beasts. It's pretty okay.
This is from
Gilius,
the Brown era of video games.
and this is like
Yeah.
the epitome of the brown game. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
brown
I
all
gotta
the
look
time.
this up.
And my daughter was watching me play it, and the music was not good. It's like this weird tribal stuff and this flute thing that kept playing over and over again. She's like, "Dad, this is bad." and it's not great. The fighting combos, there are some cool things you can do, but it kind of made me just want to play Heavenly Sword, to be honest.
Oh, it's a
But not bad.
3D action game.
Yeah. So it is. So you play as Tyrus Flare, the sort of swordswoman from the Golden Axe games.
Well, she's
very
kind of sexy.
very scantily clad. Oh yes. Oh yeah. And she has that Unreal Engine 3 like sheen. So it kinda looks
she's
like
wet all the time.
yeah, just like sweaty all over. But in addition to Tyrus Flare, Gilius Thunderhead is there. I don't know about Axe Battler, the barbarian from which he uses a sword, which is funny. I don't know why they call it.
Why is this game bad? What makes it bad?
It's just sort of
generic
game design at the time. Here's my take on it. It did not necessarily deserve the criticism that it got at the time because it was as good as things were at that time. But now
Was it though? I mean, didn't we have like Bayonetta at about this time?
We had God of War at this time.
Yeah, we
yeah, even before that.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, I think that's a fair point. But I think that
the Ninja Gaiden games were the really hot stuff back then.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, this looks horrible.
As a sort of middling kind of game, but not like a horrible game.
And was this done by like a Western developer also?
Yeah, I believe it was. Yeah,
that could be part of it also.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of I don't think a lot of Japanese studios. Remember that was the generation where Japanese studios were still kind of
they were kind of receding a little bit, and then they started a lot of I get like the Segas and the Capcoms or whatever started. I don't know what the word is, licensing, or they started letting Western studios use their stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So I finally, after years and years of being like mildly interested in it, finally got to play Golden Axe Beast Rider, and it's all right. I will say that eventually, I after playing it for several hours straight, I kind of started to have a negative outlook on kind of life.
On life
in general. Yeah, I was just like, this is starting to make me ill.
You're like, I gotta go listen to some Papa Roach.
Yeah. And then the last thing, I played a little bit of Kena Bridge of Spirits.
Oh, dude, I played some of that.
Did you? Yeah, PS Plus game, and it is I will say, this is probably how I would say, take it a generation back even further. It is very much in the spirit of what I would say maybe is PlayStation 2 era character action games. Very simple, not a lot of fighting combos, but made by it's the very first game by a studio that had previously done digitally animated movies. So sort of like your what's the studio that just did Super Mario?
Illumination.
Yeah, Illumination. So what imagine Illumination decides to make a video game. And I think Kena Bridge of Spirits is kind of that. Like, it's not anything to write home about mechanics wise, but the characters, like the cute little LeGrand, help me with them. They're like little rot sprites.
Yeah, they're called rot.
Like that. And you can kind of like almost like Pikmin. You can kind of send them off to do things, and there's like a lot of little mechanics. But it reminds me a lot of like a Ratchet and Clank kind of style thing where you're mostly just like running around and jumping, and you pick up some special abilities. You fight with a stick, and you have a very rudimentary sort of combo system to fight bad guys. In the spirit world, Kena is able to sort of commune with nature spirits who are troubled and disturbed by the effect that this rot is having on their spiritual well-being or whatever. But that's pretty good. I'd recommend that. It's on PS Plus Extra tier, and it's kind of fun to look at. I think it's definitely, if you have younger kids like Dale, yours, or LeGrand, even your kids, I think.
Yeah, me and my daughter played it a bit, and she... the combat was a little too... I mean, she's not an action gamer. She plays Roblox. Yeah. So the combat was a little bit...
Yeah, my kids they don't care about anything that's not Roblox or Animal Crossing.
Yeah. And so I think she thought it was fine. I think she just didn't... and I played it a little bit myself, and just... I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine, right? Like
it's fine.
Fine. Yeah.
Yep.
And those are the games that I've been playing this week.
All right.
Last few weeks. These 3 weeks gone by.
Well, there are a new release.
Oh, wait. One second.
Uh-oh.
I did play a game. I forgot about it because I didn't like it very much. I played a game that was on my backlog forever. It's a game called Akron, which is it's like a
Akron.
Akron,
like
yeah,
like in Ohio.
How do you spell it?
No, as in like achronicity
Sounds like one of the
or something.
Rappers.
It's on Steam. It's like an old school RTS. But the gimmick with this one is that it has like time manipulation where you can make some bad decisions, go back in time, and then redo it. But you can also you can do more than that. You can like set up like minefields or whatever, and then go back in time and then have like the enemies come through the minefield, or just I don't know, just a bunch of gimmicky
There
stuff
was a
like that.
period of time where games were like all about time rewinding, but I guess I never really
Yeah.
saw it make its way into RTSs. So I guess
This was I think this was probably in its fully realized state. It was still probably like an alpha level proof of concept sort of thing. And I remember hearing about it, hearing the premise, and being like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I probably got it on one of those like buy a game for $2 Steam sales way years ago.
This game looks bad.
And yeah, so I finally decided to try, and yeah, it is kind of bad. It's like, I mean, it's functional, but like it's like programmer art, programmer UI.
Does the time mechanic make sense? I mean, it sounds like
I
if you
couldn't-
rewind time, the mines would not still be there.
I couldn't stick with it long enough to really explore all that stuff. Oh, excuse me. The other thing is that it's one of those games where it's meant to be. It's more of a skirmish game, multiplayer sort of thing, and less of a here's an RTS campaign kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, just I don't know.
Well, Acron.
It's
How do you spell Acron?
ACH, like Acron,
Oh.
like a chronographer.
So it's not like an acorn, and it's not like
Chron-
an
ACHRON.
chronograph, chronology.
Yeah, right.
Acron. Yeah.
But it's
I'm
A.
streaming some for the YouTube audience because they'll know how bad this game looks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yes, I did actually try to play something to talk about on the podcast, and
A valiant
I was
effort.
like, after probably 30, 45 minutes, I was like, this is not great.
Yeah.
So
I also played a bunch of League of Legends Wild Rift. I don't know why, but
oh wow, okay.
yeah, that's good.
Anyway,
Cool, I
sorry.
guess.
Back to your regularly scheduled new releases. It's Zelda. Okay, let's
Zelda.
skip that. Let's go to the next thing.
Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom. We do have one new Destiny gun that's coming out into season 17 of Destiny. It's called Verdict Guilty.
Verdict Guilty.
Yeah.
That's a hand blade, a sword.
Indeed, it's a executioner's blade.
That's right.
Yeah, Verdict Guilty.
We have some new games coming to PlayStation Plus extra tier, which I believe is the second tier, right?
Yeah, I think I've finally gotten. It took me like a year or whatever, but I think I'm finally good. It's PlayStation Plus, Essential, Extra. What's Premium?
Premium.
Something.
I have Premium, and it's not worth it.
Yeah,
In fact, none of it's worth it. It's fine. Games are dumb. All right, there's a handful of standouts.
Actually, there's some good stuff. Yeah.
Evil Within 2, Conan Exiles, Dishonored 2, and The Death of the Outsider, which was I think an expansion to the first game, right? No, it was a standalone second.
That was part of 2.
Yeah, it was a standalone game. Witches of Bridgemore Witches, yeah, or something.
And it was a 2-part thing. Yeah, it was the Brigmore Witches was the first one, and then Dunwall.
Yeah,
where you got to play
Dunwall Trials
as-
or something like that. Trials of
Who
Dunwall.
was- Dowd. You played as Dowd in the Knife of Dunwall,
Yeah.
which was awesome. It was
Oh
really
yeah, Knife
good.
of Dunwall. That's right. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
They're also adding Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which I'm actually looking forward to. This is a game I didn't
I'm
want to
interested in
buy,
this.
but I want to play it.
Yes. Yep.
I was hyped but not buy, but I'll hype but wait for PlayStation Plus Extra.
Type of PS Plus.
I'm trying to figure out the like lewd illusion in Rift Apart, but I'm not sure if I quite
I
get
know
it.
what it is. I ripped a fart.
Not bad, not bad. Rune Factory 4, and all the Tomb Raider games are coming. All the new Tomb Raider games. Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Watch Dogs Legion, Wolfenstein, Youngblood. They're also bringing Siphon Filter, Logan's Shadow to the premium tier.
Crispy Run and all.
Was this the PSP game?
That's what I think. This could be some kind of like updated.
No.
Wait, what was the title again?
Logan's
Siphon
Shadow.
Filter, Logan's Shadow.
Yeah, it doesn't
It was a 9.5 rate. IGN gave it a 9.5. It was a PSP and a PS2 game.
No PSP deserves a 9.5.
It's probably horrible. Just saying.
Hey, I want to point out
probably
also,
bad.
because you overlooked this. Humanity.
Oh yeah, Humanity. That's right.
And it does not look good to me, but it's been getting good reviews.
It's a 4X game, right?
It
Well,
looks
Greg, did
like,
you just say,
it looks
"Oh, the
like
humanity"?
Lemmings.
Oh yeah,
Now,
Humanity.
you're thinking of Humankind.
Oh,
Like
I am, because that's
Civilization.
on Xbox Game Pass.
It might be, but Humanity. It looks like Lemmings, where you just like have
Yeah.
dudes like going en masse
Oh
through.
yeah, this is
like,
that new
weird-
game that they announced. That
Yeah,
some.
brand
Oh
new.
yeah, it looks kind of
And it
cool.
looks completely uninteresting to me, but people seem to like it. You know what it reminds me of? Do you
I
guys
thought it looked
remember
cool.
there was that game on the PS3 called The Last Guy, and the thing was that it was like Google
Yeah.
Maps or something, and it was
Mhm.
this super middling sort of game. But for some reason, they just maybe we didn't have a lot to talk about back then.
That's pretty much
Humanity
what it was.
feels
Yeah.
like that to me. And I'm gonna play this, and maybe I'll talk about it next week. But it's like, give these guys the power to float over this chasm. Now give them the power to climb up ladders. Now give them the power to like whatever. And
Is this
see
a
how many
god
of them.
game? Is it a return to the god game genre?
It's just the thing is though, it's just on a track. Like from what I can tell, it's like dudes walking on platforms, and then you have to traverse. There's probably more to it than that. But
It's
I'll
like
find out
Intelligent
tomorrow.
Cube, except instead of one dude, it's like
Kinda. It just looks like Lemmings. And
Whatever.
the
It's like a-
soundtrack, I listened to it. They just released the.
It does
soundtrack
not
today.
look like Lemmings. Lemmings looks a very specific way.
it's a social commentary, Jeremy. Like people are just lemmings.
I know it is, and they transcend at the end, and I'm like, what are you trying to say about like what's going on here? In the cosmology of this game, what exactly is happening?
You need to transcend. Just drink the Kool-Aid that we give you.
And transcend, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, oh,
Hmm.
wow. Jonestown has.
I'm bored already of this Lemmings
Yeah,
game.
all
It's
right.
not Lemmings.
All
Game Pass games, Redfall, which we haven't talked about, but apparently is really bad.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to talk about that today. Maybe next week.
I played it for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes.
Play more if you can.
I'm not playing more because I was
Really?
after 20
Wow.
minutes. I'm like, this game isn't terrible. And then I talked to my buddy who also had played 20 minutes. Like, you're right. I don't know why people are saying this game is so bad. And then I talked
Anyway,
to him.
let's go play something else.
I talked to him the next day, and he's like, "Yeah, it's bad." And I'm like, "All right." So we had like the same verdict after 20 minutes, which it seemed like it was interesting enough.
You just had to
And
sleep on it a little bit and be like.
then he
"Ah,
played
shit."
more, and I haven't played more, which is fine. I also uninstalled it because it's like 120 gigs, so whatever.
Yeah. That's why you stream that stuff on Game Pass.
You can. It's on Xbox. I could stream on xCloud, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a game called Ravenlock that's out. Weird West is on consoles now. This has been on PC for a minute. Shadowrun Trilogy. This is that turn-based strategy
Yeah,
game.
those are
A
fun.
remake too,
Yeah.
like a recent remake.
That's coming to PC. There's a game called Fuga Melodies of Steel, which I don't know what that is.
Fuga sounds like something lewd.
Sounds lame. Melodies of Steel, though.
Forget about
Fuga
it.
sounds something
Fuga.
Musical.
Hey, look at the
Hey.
Fuga.
Oh yeah,
Look
Fuga
at the
Melodies of
Fuga.
Steel. I'm gonna look up
My,
what is a Fuga.
Baguettes.
Hey yo, away.
Hey, oh.
Nobody knows what a Fuga is.
Luca's got the Fuga.
It's like a fupa, kind of. Anyway, Planet of Lana. These are other dumb games. There's nothing else
Del Rey.
worth talking about. And that's all the new releases and stuff.
All right, real good. We got some news. It's been going on, and we've been away for 3 weeks. To not really comment on
Mhm.
this, but we do have some movement this week on the eventual Microsoft and Activision merger. This week, we actually have some approval from the European Union on this transaction. Although it is kind of interesting, and I posted this in the Discord, there are some very interesting quid pro quos, I guess, or requirements for this,
Mhm.
which is that they said, well, yes, this is fine, but you will be required to license the software that is produced, or the assets, the game assets, to any and all other streaming services that want it or are capable of doing it, which means PlayStation, Sony, PC, all of that, which is kind of interesting. Like, I actually find that to be kind of an
So does that mean they
What?
have to let PlayStation get Call of Duty, or
I
like what? Are,
I think that's what that means. So what this says, there are commitments with a 10-year duration on this, a free license to consumers that would allow them to stream via any cloud game streaming services of their choice all current and future Activision Blizzard PC and console games for which they have a license,
that seems strange and
and a
implausible.
corresponding free license to cloud game streaming service providers to allow those gamers to stream any of Activision Blizzard's PC and console games. So kind of that's how this lawyer reads it.
So like your NVIDIA
I'm
cloud or whatever, your Logitech cloud or whatever,
I
like any
guess
of that
so.
stuff
I
should.
guess so.
Does that mean that Microsoft would have to then like have like an API that just anybody can use
I think
to
it just
create a
means they
streaming?
can't withhold it. Now, they could probably say things like, "Oh, we can't make this one run. This was designed to run only on an Xbox or
Yeah.
whatever." But I
Yeah.
think what it means is that they can't artificially say, "Well, we're making this an exclusive," which is sort of
Mm.
the main complaint, I guess, that Sony would
Right.
have to the.
Well, if it's good enough for the EU approvals board or whatever, what do I care?
Yeah, right. So the current tally is that the EU is pretty good on it. I want to say that I remember Saudi Arabia had ruled in on it, like they were pretty okay with it. America, United States, not so hot. United Kingdom, not so hot
Hmm.
on this. So it still has to go through quite a few hoops, I think, before we'll see this.
If the United States government is suspicious of a merger,
I mean, hey, we let Chinese companies that are operating under a hostile government, I mean, I'm getting my free Epic Games Store games every week, and the Biden administration has not halted me from doing that. So I don't know I don't know exactly where the line is that they would draw, but
somebody at work came to me the other day and was like, "We got this new supplier. They're in Taiwan, and we need to set them up with such and such lead times." It's like, Taiwan, dude.
yeah,
How
yeah.
how crucial is this component?
Hey, you just need to make sure that it's not going to anger the People's Republic. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, didn't I read just the other day that exercise like practicing cutting off Taiwan from the rest of the world?
well,
And
I
you want to
thought
order?
Yeah, well, I thought that was the thing is like China's like, no, that's not really China. We're China or something. Because isn't Taiwan like the Republic of or something of
Yeah,
China?
everything's a republic of something
The
or other.
banana Republic of China.
The
Eh,
PRC, I think that's the mainland, and then yeah, I
yeah.
think Republic of China. I think that's Taiwan. Yeah,
And then the Democratic People's Republic of China. I don't know.
that's the
Well, hey,
DPRK.
so we
That's
did
North
the
Korea.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Yeah.
Yeah,
So as we were talking about Redfall a little bit, this was kind of a thing. I mean, Redfall up to its pre-release reviews, everybody, right? Like you guys are both on board. Like it was going to be something
It looked
great.
fine. I was tangentially interested. It didn't look horrible. How about that?
And this is like Arcane Studios, right? So,
Dishonored
um,
peeps and
yeah,
Yeah.
Dishonored and Prey and some of those things, which they've done a pretty consistently good job of things. Well, Xbox head Phil Spencer had gone on the Kind of Funny games. That's Greg Miller from former IGN. And he went on there and they asked him some candid questions about Xbox stuff in general because Xbox, so first of all, Redfall launching kind of semi broken, running at 30 frames a second. Everybody, Microsoft had claimed that all of their first party stuff was going to run at 60 frames a second. It was going to be awesome. So Phil Spencer kind of said, I kind of blame myself
mea
for this.
culpa.
Yeah, he said that there's clearly quality and execution things that we could do, but he does not push against creative aspirations for the teams. But he says, as the guy in charge of that, he kind of would be the one to take the ultimate blame for it.
He's a pretty candid sort of dude.
I will say it's not super often these days that you get really candid discussions with the top people on these. So I did think it was kind of interesting. I jogged through it. You can find it on their YouTube.
Yeah.
But they did ask him some pretty direct questions and he answered them. Kind of like the way I will say this is one thing I admire about athletes. I don't really care a lot about organized sports or whatever, but after the game, like the losing team, when you ask them, "Hey guys, what happened out there?" Like most of the time, they'll be like, "Yeah, we didn't do this. They really got us here." Like they're generally pretty candid about it, and that's kind of the sense I got from Phil Spencer was
You know
we
that
just
meme
played a
of the
losing
like
game.
high school football guy or whatever, like they had us in the first half. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, kind
That's,
of,
that's
and
yeah.
that's sort of the attitude that I got from Phil Spencer with this, and I do think it was admirable. Now, I mean, ultimately, he still has a pretty bad game on his hands here, but
Microsoft hasn't done much in the last year and a half.
and they also talked about that. Like Xbox in general is not. I mean, aside from Game Pass, which still not hitting the subscribership that they have really been targeting. Other services, PlayStation has been doing a pretty good job with their subscription service. They asked him about a lot of that stuff, and it really was kind of interesting to hear his perspective on that. And you know, the interesting thing about it too is that for the last, I want to say maybe 4 years, 5 years, Microsoft has really been trying to build a stable of studios specifically to not have this problem, and somehow here they are, which is just kind of interesting. But Phil Spencer did step up to the plate and was able to talk about that, and I think that's kind of
What are your thoughts about? I mean, surely people inside Microsoft and Obsidian knew that Redfall was bad, right? They had to.
always know. Yeah.
So
But I
why
think also
did my opinion is, and my suspicion is that they hadn't done much, and the Redfall had already been pushed back, and if they were to push it back again because it sucked, like, I mean, it's probably worse that they launched it in the state that it was rather than launched it, 6 months down the road or a year down the road, but way better,
I think the part of it though is how do you change course on that big ship? I mean, at what point do you say, okay, we're gonna fix it and actually materially have some way to do that? I mean, you almost have to work your way backwards to the point at which things went wrong and start over again. And I think that's one of the reasons why, and I think I've said this on the show before, I have heard, and I've actually thought about this a lot, that the producer's role on a project like this, the most important critical thing that he can do is to terminate a project that is not shaping up, because you just can't fix it sometimes. And I think Redfall is probably that.
And they couldn't afford to not release something because they hadn't done it.
For all this time, they had been talking about it, and it was like this big thing, and it's Arcane. It's like a storied studio. Yeah. I don't know what else you do. I mean,
well, that's the crappy part is like, so you wonder, like, Deathloop was mostly finished when Microsoft acquired these guys, right?
Yeah.
And that came out it was a PlayStation exclusive when it came out first, and then eventually.
An interesting point too is that they were under a different leadership for this game.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and so this is the first game coming out of the studio with Microsoft wholly owned and behind it, right? Which makes you wonder. Like, we've all been talking about this Activision Blizzard Microsoft merger. Like, does it seem like that good of a thing anymore? It's almost like we wanted that to happen, because when that started, like, Blizzard was on the shit list because of all the weird problems they were having internally and things like that. And everyone's like, well, Microsoft's going to come in and fix it, and they're going to do all this stuff because we like Microsoft, because we like Game Pass. Fast forward 2 or 3 years, and suddenly Microsoft has done jack shit. And in fact, the things that they have done, Halo came out to a whimper and did not do nearly what they wanted it to do. Redfall came out, and then a handful of smaller titles from smaller developers, AAA business, they have done nothing. And so when you
and the stuff on Game Pass that actually is getting people excited are not Microsoft properties.
Exactly. It's like, oh man, I'm so excited for. Let me read here. Well, none of these. Civilization 6 I installed the other day on Game Pass. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna play Civilization 6. Yeah. And that's the type of stuff that's. There's nothing that Microsoft is doing right now. What is Microsoft? Starfield, like, okay, so now what you think is like,
watch this thing,
yeah, so now exactly, Bethesda's been so good, but no games under Bethesda have come out under Microsoft yet. True. Starfield is that first game. So if that game sucks, despite all the time they've pushed it back and pushed it back, if it comes out and it's bad, Microsoft's going out of business.
Microsoft, yeah, they're just gonna fold. I was just
I'm like seriously, like what? That is their saving grace. Starfield has to be 9.5s, 10s reviews. It has to be the greatest game ever, and it's not going to be. First of all, second of all, it has to be, because they have nothing else. They have nothing else coming up. Like, I have no idea
what's in their 12 to 18 month hype pipeline.
Nothing. I'm going to search for upcoming Microsoft video games. I'll let you know what's coming up. Lego.
Wow.
Games coming soon on Microsoft.com. Star Trek. Armored Core. Fine.
I'm excited about Armored Core.
Immortals. That's it. There's really nothing.
That's
nothing.
Weird. For a company that's been buying up all of these studios for the last 5 years, that is kind of an interesting position.
Upcoming Series X games for 2023, courtesy of Games Radar. Lord of the Rings Gollum.
But that's not a. Is that a Microsoft game?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
That's Daedalic
Microsoft.
Entertainment.
Yeah, Microsoft. There's got to be.
Yeah,
a
well, I think you made
Wikipedia.
your point.
I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. Nothing coming out. Okay, I'm on Wikipedia. Wikipedia is the source of all truth.
Yeah.
2023. Let's see here. Minecraft Legends came out. Didn't really see much.
No.
There's probably a Forza game coming out, which is probably going to be okay. Like whatever. Fable, I guess, has been announced.
Oh, that's true.
Perfect Dark, but who cares? Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, Outer Worlds 2, Untitled Kojima Productions game. Like, there's literally nothing aside from Starfield.
No big tent pole that they can.
Starfield's it. Like I said, if Starfield fails or is bad, and the thing is that game is so freaking hyped, it's not going to live up to the hype that people have given it. So it's not going to. It might be great, it might be fine, but it better be freaking baller, or else
It better be better than Redfall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man. Again, like I'm wondering what is going on that's causing this, and I think that's what Microsoft's also probably trying to figure out is like, what did we do wrong? Like, why do we have nothing coming out? We spent all this money. We're gonna spend $40 billion on freaking Activision. Like, we've already spent whatever on everyone else. Now what?
I don't see Sony flagging the way that Microsoft seems to be, but I don't know that Sony's got a lot in the kitty either right now.
Let's find out.
Because I mean, they just did God of War Ragnarok. They just did
Spider-Man 2.
But yeah, they did just announce a Spider-Man 2.
Let's see, 2023. I will let you know what I see on this.
It doesn't
list.
seem. It kind of seems like we're in a little bit of a weird lull right now, which is kind of interesting. But Nintendo's stepping up though. They've got their Tears of the Kingdom. So
let's see. They've got announced for 2023. Spider-Man 2. Death Stranding 2's been announced. Knights of the Old Republic remake. Marvel's Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but they also just came out with, I mean, last year they had God of War Ragnarok and they had Horizon Forbidden West, among other things.
Yeah. That's true. So they might then,
I don't know. We'll see.
Humankind or humanity is coming out.
Humanity.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the big boy news for this week. But guys, we still have a little bit of joy for you on the new speedrun. Start that music.
Boom, 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 bam.
Yeah, some of that drum and bass.
The resident MMO player, I guess me and Dale are both MMO players now.
Yeah.
Amazon's making another MMO after canceling their first attempt.
Which one did they cancel?
Lord of the Rings MMO. I forgot to put that in there.
Is that referring to New World? Because that's not canceled, right?
So no. So the operative thing that I forgot to put in the headline there was they're making another
The Lord of the
Rings MMO,
Oh.
and they had one in production.
They canceled it?
That's right. I remember that.
So they're going to try it again, I guess.
There's already a Lord of the Rings MMO.
It's true. Lord of the Rings Online. It was bad. I mean, it's fine for its time.
It's all right.
Old. It's just really old.
Played some of that. It is pretty old. Nintendo Switch surpassed 125 million sold.
Which I don't think that breaks any big records, does it? I think
probably does. I think it sold more than the Wii at this point.
That would be interesting.
I don't recall what the sales numbers are like for major consoles, but I mean, you sell 125 million of anything. That's pretty.
I mean, it's more than I've sold.
The 3DS sold 75 million. The Wii U sold 14 million, 13.5 million. The Wii sold 101 million, so it sold more than the Wii. So and the DS, the original DS, sold 154 million.
The original DS?
The original DS. So it has beat out
across all families.
It has beat out the Game Boy. It has beat out the Game Boy Advance. Everything else before that.
I mean, beating the Wii is pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so, especially for like a home. But again, like they don't have like a flagship portable console anymore like they used to. So this is it.
They did combine everything together.
And they have the Switch Lite. So like the Switch Lite and the Nintendo Switch is kind of like.
And the OLED Switch.
And the OLED. Yeah, so they have like what I mean is like the dedicated portable, which is the Lite. They have the combo breaker one, which is the regular, and the OLED.
Combo Joy-Con drift.
Anyway, I think that
Joy-Con drift.
There you go.
Eiji Aonuma says that, according to our discussion a little bit earlier, that open world Zelda is the future of the franchise. They're very pleased with Tears of the Kingdom and Breathe of the Wild.
At this point, it's also the present and the past.
Yeah.
That's true.
Diablo 4 is going to focus on seasonal content that's going to require you to make a new character every few months for every
Just
season.
like Diablo 3's seasonal
Yeah,
content.
just like
Is that how that
Diablo
works?
3.
Because that
Yes.
seems like a weird choice to me. That's weird.
Well, you can in Diablo 3, you can create a new character. 20 minutes later, you'd be at like the level cap, basically.
Yeah, in Diablo 3.
If you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Well, this past couple of weeks, a trailer for the Gran Turismo movie.
Oh my gosh, I watched
dropped.
this trailer.
What do you think of it?
I mean, it's based on a true story, so it's more
It
like a
is.
documentary, honestly.
It's basically it's everybody. It's all true. David Harbour and Orlando Bloom in this training young video game nerds. I tell you what, it kind of bothered me that David Harbour was like, "Oh, all these nerds are locked in their basements, and oh, what kind of you guys can't even? Why are you so weak? You can't even lift a pencil. What is this? A racing simulator for ants?" That whole thing kind of bothered me. I was kind of tired of that.
Don't blame
other than
David
that,
Harbour.
looks like
Blame
it'll
the
be all right.
crappy writers, and they paid him
know.
to do all that. He's like,
Yeah,
fine, I'll
that's
take
true.
your money.
He delivered his lines superbly.
Do you guys remember that mech game from several years ago that was renowned for graphics? Hawken?
Never played it.
Hawken.
Never played it. That was a PS3 game, right?
I did. I talked about it on the show.
It
I
was
gotta
a-
go back and find it.
It was a PC game, like initially, and then because the whole pushing these amazing graphics, right?
Yeah.
And then I think when it came out, it was just sort of like a so
Yeah, it's pretty good.
kind of thing. But anyway, that game coming back as a PvE mech game, which sounds interesting.
I
Could be
mean,
cool.
Dale was just singing the praises of PvE communities.
Yeah, but that game, as I recall, was like a deathmatch sort of thing. So I wonder if this will be like
Mech
single
Warrior.
player PvE, or is it actually going to be like you have like a lance that you team up with?
That'd be all right. I'd be okay with that. We don't get a lot of
Pretty cool.
those actually.
Yeah, there needs to be more.
Well, hey, going back to Tears of the Kingdom for just a moment, it is just worth noting that humans are not basically good creatures, and some of the most popular types of machines that have been made in Tears of the Kingdom are Korok torture devices. So in the previous game, Breathe of the Wild, as you met Koroks, you would just find them and maybe shoot a balloon, and they'd be like, "Hiya, ha ha! You found me. Here's
You got
a Korok
one of my 999 seeds."
Yeah, exactly. Well, now they are like they got these oversized backpacks and they want to like go find a buddy. And so the goal is like, how do I get this Korok over there? And instead of making benevolent machines to help transport them to their friend, they're making like rotisseries and like all kinds of things. I saw someone crucifying Koroks on a anyway,
Wow.
just in case you wanted to know, like the society around you is absolutely.
We already know how bad society is.
Oh yeah.
And finally on the list here, Diablo is getting a cookbook. And I'm starting a podcast about video game cookbooks that I own.
You almost do it.
There is Diablo is known for its butcher, right? So you need to have a baker and
a candlestick maker. Bam!
All that stuff. So
yeah, I actually bought the Destiny cookbook for a friend for Christmas one year.
Did you? I think I've got the Overwatch cookbook here.
They have an Elder Scrolls one. There's a WoW one. There's
I do appreciate
I have the Resident Evil 7 cookbook.
Cockroaches soup.
I can't say anything funnier than that, to be honest. But I will say that there is something to be said for like the dungeons, like you know Dragon's Crown, right? Dragon's Crown in between levels, like there's like all this like monster based food, and it like actually looked really kind of appetizing. Dungeons and Dragons kind of has that foodie kind of element to it, you know. Golden Axe, you know, you'd get ham off the ground and stuff.
Was it Final Fantasy 15 that had all those crazy?
Oh yeah,
you'd cook when you go camp.
Yeah, exactly.
A new recipe. But I don't see that in Diablo. Diablo's kind of like a weird choice to me.
Legendary shakes.
Like
it's not because people will buy it because Diablo.
There's just a lot of jibs. I don't know that I want like jibs floating in my.
Stay a while.
I don't think there's a cooking component in Diablo 4 at all. At least as far as I know.
They should make one. Now they should make one.
Yeah, they have.
You can socket your roast. Whatever.
Yeah. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode of the Game Bytes Show podcast. I know it's been a while. I'm happy that you made it to the end. LeGrand, Dale, thank you very much for getting to the end of the show. Dear listener, thank you for making it. Right now, we don't know where you can find us anywhere. Forget social media. Forget our website. I mean, try it. I don't know. See if Legrand is true to his promise. Go to
Ponder an
GameByteShow.com.
orb.
Something might happen. Ponder your orb.
Yeah.
And come join us. We do know that you can find us every week that we do this at youtube.com/GameByteShow. And you know what? If we don't, we've got a great backlog of a lot of good content back there. And I don't know. I guess that's all I've got to say to you this week. But if you have any thoughts, comments, save them. Come join us eventually on Discord when you can get there and tell us what you think of the games.
Forward domain. I'm forwarding the domain right now again.
He says
okay.
It's gonna work. He says it's going to work.
We're
I don't
on.
know if I trust him.
Our stuff is hosted on Podbean. So if you go to podbean.com and search for Game Bytes Show, you'll find our stuff.
That's true. It is on there. And, I will say one of the new cool little features that I'm quite proud of is that every episode of the show comes with some album cover art that is generated by AI and reflects some of what we talked about in this show.
Take that, artists.
That's right. We don't pay people, pay creative people for stuff? No way.
Oh, my God.
In this economy, what are you talking about?
Get a real job.
That's right. That's right. Your liberal arts degree.
Go home and be a family man.
Go
That's
home
right.
and be a family man. That's it. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode of your Game Bytes Show podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye. So I got here and I said, clicked on forward domain, and it took me to an error page.
Uh-oh.
This is garbage, man. Absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Oh. Ooh. Forward to any site. Okay. Next. They'll be redirected to advanced options, permanent, forward only.
Lemon party.
Finish.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that one in a while.
I was trying to think what like a totally repugnant website.
Tired of U.S. politics? Join the Lemon Party. Lemon Party. Estimated
Except
value.
you go there and it's just a Rickroll.
Yeah.
Okay, I turned it on. Turned it on, guys. Did it.
GameByteShow.com. It's not working yet.
Well, it takes a minute for DNS to update.
It's not working yet.
Oh
It's
my
got to
gosh,
propagate.
No, I know.
Here we freaking go. I've done this like 4 times, by the way.
Hey, none of my comments when I was trying to timestamp the show, I got messages that said error, try again. So
Lock on domain privacy.
I blame Jared.
I have a domain called Mike Loves Wood.
You know what? There used to be. I wonder if it still works. Batman the podcast.
So there's a company that I might have told you this because I might have told this to you before, but there's a company called Best Manufacturing in Portland, and for a long time they make like culinary whisks that they're like the big ones they call whips, right? And I think that's basically all they make. Anyway, they're Best Manufacturing.
I can foresee there's a great rap song in there somewhere.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Wow. Okay.
Their URL for a long time was
it redirected for me. Jeremy, it did it.
Was Best MFers. Best manufacturers. Yeah, it was the URL was literally Best MFERS.
I really think that
but then they changed it because I don't know, they changed it. Maybe they were trying to be proper or whatever, but they changed it to Best Whips USA. Which
Best Whips USA. Sounds
pretty
like
good.
They have like some, octogenarian CEO who's like approving that. He's like, no, it must be. We make the best
manufacturers.
Best manufacturing.
Yeah.
The best manufacturers, and we need it to be short so people can remember the URL.
I would have kept Best MFers. That's.
I mean, if nothing else, you can squat the domain and sell it.
Right? Exactly. I mean, you just got to keep it to own it,
I really think that acronym review needs to be part of any product launch. You just get ahead of it a little bit and decide.
Hey, the redirect works now.
Nice.
And I'm leaving. I'll see you guys.